All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our admin on this Thursday, September 23rd. Let's begin with roll call. Violet?
Here in person, we have myself, Violet Plummer, Kyla Leonards, Brian West, Ann Hughes, Mel Fisher, and Commissioners Strohmeyer, Slotnick, and Vero. Calling in over Teams, we have Cindy Kennedy, Matt Lautzenheiser, Erica Grindy, Emmy Bristow, Amanda Henthorn, Dylan Jakes, Susan Kohler, Allison Franz, Jamar Galbraith, and Chris Lounsbury. Did I miss anybody? Okay.
Thanks, Violet. Are there any public comments on items not on today's agenda or any staff announcements? Okay, seeing none, let's just roll right into our agenda. And the first item is brought to us by Cindy Kennedy. This is an request to authorize the chair to sign certification for application for Missoula County CDBG-CV grant applications to the Montana Department of Commerce. Cindy.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. So yes, I am requesting that the board approve the chair to sign a certification for application. And CDBG-CV stands for Community Development Block Grant. This is CARES Act funding that dates back a while, but we're now eligible to apply to the state of Montana for these funds to the Department of Commerce. Missoula County must agree to comply with all requirements established by the Montana Department of Commerce and applicable state laws, regulations, and administrative procedures, and accept U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant CARES Act program requirements. Quite a mouthful. The certification includes an exhaustive list of state and federal laws and regulations associated with CDBG funding, and by signing the certification of application, we are agreeing to comply with those laws and regulations.
Thanks.
Are there any questions?
Why don't you just go ahead and do item 2 while you're at it? And
sure.
Just so folks know, we are pulling item 3, so we'll not be discussing that today. Go ahead, okay. Cindy.
Sounds great. So I am requesting that the board approve the chair to sign a resolution to apply to the Montana Department of Commerce on behalf of the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center for Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funding. We've shortened that to CDBGCV. The resolution to apply authorized the submission of the CDBG CARES application in compliance with the application guidelines. The Missoula Food Bank is requesting CDBG-CV funding to support expanded services at the Bonner, Lolo, and Fertura manufactured home community in the DeSmet area. And these services were expanded due to COVID-19 and have recently scaled back due to a lack of funding. So the Missoula Food Bank is requesting $317,626 to cover expenses at these 3 locations dating back to March 2020 as the funding guidelines allow. And that's it. Are there any questions or comments or thoughts?
Thanks, Andy.
Well, I have a question in the packet then. Do we need to change? Am I misreading the packet for item number 2?
What are you reading? What are you seeing that's different than what's on the RCA?
See here. It says, okay, the grant applications, okay, and then the project items for the food bank and item 3.
We're just pulling item 3. Item 3 is pulled. We're just doing items 1 and 2.
But what we're signing includes both of them. I guess I just want to make sure whatever we're signing, whatever we're signing, we're just going to be dealing with item 2.
Could you hear that, Cindy?
Yes. Let me see. Did I do? Hold on. Give me a second. Yes. Well, no, I'm sorry.
We've got the agenda, the RCA, and then what we'll actually be signing. So.
Right. So sorry, I'm just trying to find it in my files really quick. I apologize. So
are these separate resolutions?
Pardon me?
Are these separate resolutions, or do we need to amend a resolution to take out of item 3?
So there's the first document, the certification for application, does not name a project. So that's just one document that needs to be signed. And then the second document is a resolution to apply for the food bank. The third document should be a resolution for the third item that we're pulling. So you should just need to sign the certification for application and the resolution to apply for the food bank. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. I just wanted to make sure, because what I'm looking at.
This morning or this afternoon?
Oh, I thought I was looking at this morning. Oh, I am looking at this morning.
Just checking.
Yeah, thank you.
You're looking at, what are you looking at, Juanita, or the RCA for?
Yeah, the RCA.
We will just make sure that what we
just
asked you
make
to
sure
sign is in conformance with what is stated on the agenda.
Okay,
That'd be
we will move items.
I would move we approve items 1 and 2.
Second.
Any further discussion or public comment on the motion to move items 1 and 2? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Eagle Eye Vero.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
You.
Thank you. The next item, Andrew, are you on the line and want to present this to us?
I don't see
Is,
Andrew. We might circle back to this one once he's able
okay,
to get on.
let's hold item 4. We'll come back to that to see if we can have someone speak to that, unless there is anyone on the line who wants to speak to item 4.
Chris, do that.
Chris?
Sure, I would be happy to speak to that, commissioners. So what you have before you today is an agreement with Dorsey Whitney. As you'll recall, Dorsey Whitney is our bond counsel here for Missoula County. In this case, this agreement with Dorsey Whitney is in connection with the creation for the ownership structure. As you'll recall, we've been working closely with the city of Missoula and the federal government on acquiring the old federal building for use as a joint city-county building for city and county administrative offices. And so this agreement is to work with Dorsey Whitney to help create that structure. Around that, as you know, we're looking at several different potential models, including the special district model similar to what was used at the fairgrounds. And so this is just an engagement letter with them to help us go through that process as our counsel.
Sounds pretty straightforward. Any questions on this?
Nope. I move that the board approve and authorize Chorney to sign the agreement with Dorsey and Whitney.
I'll second that.
Further discussion or public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
Thank you,
for
commissioners.
filling in there, Chris.
Jumping in, Chris.
I don't know. I don't see her. Is Landy on the line? No? Yes? We have a request to authorize the chair to sign Montana Department of Transportation State Highway Traffic Safety Grant.
So commissioners, I can pinch hit on this one also. So as you'll recall,
Okay.
Judge Holloway has been very successful in the creation of a DUI road court. And this is a continuation grant from the State Department of Transportation, State Highways Traffic Safety Program for funding to help support the DUI road court.
Sounds good. Questions?
Nope.
I would move we approve the chair to sign the DOT grant.
Second.
Further discussion on this or public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Is Kate on the line?
Good morning. I am here.
Oh, excellent.
Nice.
What do you have for us?
Well, I have the pleasure of bringing to you a new and improved WAC Task Order. This is a traditionally an annual agreement with Department of Public Health and Human Services to offer our WIC program to the Missoula County community. This year it is new improved because previously we offer remote dietitian services from our WIC program to four different local WIC agencies across the state. It's a requirement of the state WIC office that every local WIC agency have that service for high-risk participants. And we've traditionally provided that service to these 4 different agencies, and we have 4 separate contracts with each of those agencies on an annual basis. And those now, all of that funding for that service is now included in this one task order. So that reduces the number of total contracts that I'm bringing to you on an annual basis. The other change this year is that our Farmers Market Nutrition Program is a separate program, separate funding source, and has always had a separate contract. That program funding and all of the program programmatic requirements, all of that is now also included in this one task order for the WIC program. And then the final change is that this is moving from a 1-year annual contract to a 2-year. So this one contract has what used to be 10 different contracts. So that's pretty exciting. It's all just, and nothing's new. There's no big changes. Everything's kind of business as normal, just lumped together into one contract. So I would be happy to talk more about each of those programs and how things are going, but I want to pause to ask if you have any questions about those changes.
Any questions? And the amount is $1,015,252.80.
The only comment was it's wonderful that we can provide this service to other counties that don't have the resources we do.
Absolutely. Do you want to add anything, Kate, about the programs?
Yeah, well, thank you for that comment, Josh. I feel the same way, and we have a very competent staff and are seen as a leader in the state in this program. And so it is very nice that we're able to offer this. It's also nice that we receive funding from the state to provide that service as well. This year, our Farmers Market Nutrition Program did things a little bit differently. We physically went to the farmers market on Saturdays. We alternated between the two markets and set up a table and issued benefits there. Our participants loved it. A lot of the farmers loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And we don't have the final redemption numbers yet, but it seems to be more successful in doing it that way. And so that was a fun change, especially amidst everything that's going on with COVID and the pandemic, and just having that interaction with people was really wonderful. Our WIC program is still serving our families remotely. We're not seeing families in person. We continue to have physical presence waivers from USDA, and it's anticipated that we will have those at least through the end of the calendar year, but that is something that's renewed every 90 days. And so every 90 days, we're kind of waiting to see if they're going to be renewed and thinking about how we might change our service delivery if they are not renewed. So that's kind of the just quick summary of the status of the programs.
Kate has,
Oh.
I bet we were going to ask the same thing.
Have we lost any funding? So by combining two together for the next 2 years, we are in a good position.
We are in a very good position, and the state WIC program is in a very good position as well. There's a lot of support for WIC right now at the federal level. We actually have an increased fresh fruit and vegetable benefit that we call CVB, cash value benefit. Typically, that is around $9 or $11, depending on the participant type, $9 for children, $11 for pregnant women. That has increased to $35 a month. It was a temporary period of 4 months through the end of September, and the House just voted to continue extension of that increase through December. And so we're really hoping that their continuing resolution that hopefully Congress passes soon will include that increase. So that's an increase of funding that directly supports the food dollars that go directly to participants. In terms of funding for us operating our program, this 2-year funding is adequate. It even provides additional funding to do more outreach and marketing type work. And then there is an opportunity, if we find that we need extra money for something, we can apply for an amendment and ask for an amendment. And we've been reassured that it's very likely that that could happen. So you may see me again within 2 years talking about WIC if we are able to get additional funding.
Kate, is that $35 per child or per, like in a family with 2 kids, would that be $70 a month then?
Yes. Yep. Per participant.
Okay. And then last question, since going virtual, have you seen participation hold steady?
It has held steady. So we had a declining trend for a long time, and the trend downward has slowed. We still see slight declines, but I would say it's more holding steady. We serve right around 1,400 Missoula County participants right now, which is a significant decline from where we were 5 years ago even, but we continue to start to, we're trying to do creative things. We are talking about co-locating with at some OB offices, which is hopefully what we can help be on site and have better partnerships with providers. And so hopefully we're going to be able to increase our participation with some of the new things that we're doing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Can't remember whose turn it is.
I motion that the chair sign the task order.
Excellent.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion or public comment on this item? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kate.
Thank you very much.
All right. Matt Lotzenheiser, the next two items are yours. This is kind of a big deal. We've been working on this for a long time, and we are poised to ramp up the COVID-19 documentation project to the next level here. And sadly, we're not where we thought we might be, and that is on the downward slide out of COVID and being able to reflect on the experience we've been through. We are in the midst of an ongoing crisis. So, Matt.
Sure. So the first item on the agenda is an independent contractor agreement with Leif Fredrickson, who is an adjunct professor at the University of Montana. He's also somebody that's trained in recording and taking oral histories. So the idea is that we've spent the last 18 months collecting information, a variety of different community organizations we partnered with to do this, from the Missoula Downtown Association, University of Montana, of course, through the county and city. So the next step would be to hire a project coordinator who could come in and make sure that this is all being accurately gathered and then uploading it to this Preservica system. In addition, we would do a number of oral history interviews with people that have been involved in the COVID response to the last year and a half, and record those for posterity as well too. So the first one is that independent contractor agreement, and I did notice there's one small change to the agreement. It's reflected in the scope of work. The total for the contract should be $12,200, not $11,200, and that's under number 6, compensation for services. And the additional $1,000 is because of we're asking Leif to also look at phase 2 of the project, including kind of a summary report of what they discovered during phase 1, and also looking at some grant possibilities to fund phase 2 of the project. So I would ask that small change be noted between, like I said, from $11,200 to $12,200, and that's just the additional labor for that preparation for phase 2. Trying to think, questions.
Why don't you go ahead and describe the second item, and then we'll take questions together,
Sure.
Matt.
Sure. So the second item is sole source justification for Preservica. Preservica, so when it came to this, I really leaned heavily on my colleague at the Erin Balcom at the University of Montana Mansfield Archives. They have a lot more experience. She's a digital archivist, and she's worked with a number of different platforms. But the idea would be that all of this information that has been collected would be available in digital form to both researchers, to healthcare professionals in our community, or to the general public if they'd want to follow the course of COVID from essentially March of 2020 through the present day, and unfortunately continuing on. I'm relying on Erin's answers on this. She's used, like I said, a number of these different platforms. She finds this one to be not only the most intuitive and easy to work with, but also it actually in the long run will be probably the least expensive option as well too. So I did reach out to Dave Wall, and we went through the process, and Dave has cleared the sole source justification for the contract with Preservica as well too.
Thanks, Matt. Any questions on this?
Good. I'm as dismayed as anybody that this documentation project has to keep going because we still have a pandemic to document. Where I would move items 8 and 9.
Second.
And
I
believe
think
7
it's
and
items
8.
7 and 8.
7 and 8. I'm sorry.
And
Thanks, Violet.
And I'm assuming with that motion, it's the change in the dollar figure.
Yes,
as-
yeah, we'll
okay,
change from the 11.2 to 12.2.
As amended. Okay, did you second, Juanita?
I did,
Okay,
second.
any further discussion or public comment? I am delighted to see this get off the ground in a big way here. So, seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
And so even though LAIF is kind of officially beginning work, a bunch of work has been ongoing, right? So
Yeah, this will be bringing on some actual staff, interns, and then getting the digital infrastructure that we can
Great.
really collect everything that coalesce everything that we've collected to date.
Who's been doing the work up to this point?
Matt, you want to say a few more words on that?
Sure. So we have a committee, Josh, that we put together from folks from the community. I mentioned University of Montana, of course, Missoula County, representatives of the city. So far it's all been kind of in silos. We've all been collecting information related to our own organizations. We've even reached out to some of our rural communities. Sealy Swan, the historical museum or the museum up there has been collecting information for us. So what we've run into, though, is it's a capacity issue. We're all able to collect our own stuff and save it, but for one person to go in and actually kind of collate all that and put it into one place and evaluate it and get it over to Preservica, that's what LAIF is going to help us with. But it's been a ton of work so far, just trying to get all these. Gosh, I can't tell you how many press releases and things like that I've captured in the last year and a half. I'm excited to kind of share that with LAIF and see how he's able to kind of organize all that and then get it to Preservica.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the oral history piece, I think, is a big one too. Okay, did we vote?
I don't think we have.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Commissioners.
Thanks, Matt.
It happened. Okay, item 9, Allison.
Good morning. So this item is a request for you to approve an agreement with Next Request, which is a company that provides public records request management software. And we looked at about 3 companies to provide this platform that will help us with our public records requests, which have increased significantly over the past year or so. And this one had really the best workflow tools, and we'll be able to set up a single online portal for members of the public to submit requests. So that will help with just organizing those and making sure they're getting to the right staff members. And this also includes, they call it rapid review feature, which helps eliminate duplicate messages that come through when you have just a really large scale broad email request, which can take up a lot of time to review emails if you're having to, comb through thousands and thousands of pages of emails that a lot of them are just duplicate emails because several people were copied on the same message. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to really help us fulfill these requests more efficiently, and we'll just save on a lot of staff time and get the requests out to the public in a more timely manner.
Awesome.
Happy to answer your question.
Could you describe how it would work for a member of the public? Somebody wants to look at something, what happens?
So right now, we kind of just have a scattershot method of people submitting those. Some of them come straight to me, some of them go to a particular department. So what this is going to do is it's going to just set up like an online portal, and we'll just direct all public records requests to that. And then the idea is that it'll come to me when it's first submitted, and then I can make the determination as far as which departments and staff need to be involved. And that will allow us to track these requests a little better too, and have a better understanding of how much time staff are spending on them. And then this one also has a really cool feature where if you have a request that you think is going to be of broad public interest, once you fulfill it to the requester, there's basically a button you can click and we can just put it out on the website. So that's another really cool feature that this company offered.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
I move that Allison Franz sign the agreement with Next Request.
I'll second that.
Further discussion or public comment on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We do this for, oh, okay. We do it for a year and then what happens? We evaluate and.
What happens then, Allison?
Yeah, that's my thought, is that this is just kind of like a pilot right now. We just make sure that it fits all of our needs, and then we can continue on, and there'll be options to sign, a multi-year agreement in the future if we want to continue.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thanks. Amanda, looks like we have a little bit of cleanup still yet to do from last fiscal year's budget.
That would be correct. What I'm presenting to you today is for the capital project funds and all of our debt service funds. This is for the last bit of construction on the library and any changes that happened with that, the last bits of the fairgrounds phase 1 construction, and projects like that.
Great. Any questions for Amanda or Andrew? Is there anything that you want to add? I guess not.
No, I have nothing yet. I'm sorry. I'm having some trouble with my system this morning.
Okay, that was Andrew articulating something that I didn't hear.
I was having a couple of systems.
Oh, hopefully that's an electronic system, not some physiological. Although it could be, I don't know.
I would move that we approve the remainder of the fiscal year 2021 budget adjustments as detailed in the attachments.
Second.
Any further discussion? Andrew's working on the system. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Kyla, please come to us and let's introduce our potential appointments to the Missoula Aging Services Governing Board.
Yes, good morning. We had a resignation. Amanda Cahill, regular member, resigned effective August 10th, 2021. So there was already a vacancy out there. So there's 2 vacancies currently, one through June 30th, 2023, which is the remainder of Amanda's term. And then there's another vacant term through June 30th, 2022. We had 4 new applicants: George Senden, Richard Volenkady, Karen Bonek, and Susan Malik. So the motion is to fill those two positions, and Susan is on the line.
Great. Susan, would you like to talk to us a little bit about your thoughts just based on the composition of the board and potential needs of skill sets there?
Yes, thanks for the opportunity to share our governance committee's perspective on people who have applied, which actually it's been great to see all these people being interested in Missoula Aging Services. The skill sets we were predominantly looking for was advocacy and finance. And after discussion, we felt that both Karen would fill the role of finance with her banking experience, and Sue Malik would do a great job in advocacy. So those are the 2 that we recommend. The others, you're welcome, if you'd like, to put in the letter that we did appreciate their interest, and I would be happy to talk to each one of them to give them some additional opportunities to be involved in the agency. So I find this process was really helpful in identifying some people who want to be involved with us, and I certainly don't want to lose that interest.
Thanks, Susan. That's super helpful input.
It is.
Questions?
I'm really glad that you could reach out to the other 2 folks, and because they really expressed a desire to be working with you, and each of them had a wealth of experience to bring, and I'm glad we could keep them as engaged. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
I agree with the recommendation, and I'm on the board, so do I have to recuse myself?
I think so.
I don't think so.
No, you have no financial interest in this.
No,
So.
okay. Great interviews with Karen Bonek, and I think I agree with her banking experience and her enthusiasm, and yeah, I think she'd be a fantastic asset. And then obviously Sue Malik with 12 years serving in the legislature, able to advocate for aging Montanans. This is fantastic. So I'd motion to seat Karen and Sue.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion or public comment on the motion to appoint Karen and Sue? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
So if
Thank
you
you
got a-
very much.
Process.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyla. Okay. Chris, in keeping with our tradition, do you want to take on this highly controversial employment agreement?
I remember doing one with Mr. Halverson previously. So.
Yeah, so Eric is changing roles at Partnership Health Center. He's going to be taking on more of a oversight in their communications world. So this is an updated employment agreement with him listed on the RCA, though the rate is incorrect. It should actually be 35.28, not 38.28, and you'll see that on the larger detail of it, but as just the line item here. So just as a reminder, Partnership Health Center is funded through insurance billing and a sliding fee scale. There's no property tax revenue that goes to Partnership Health Center for their general operations. And so this is otherwise a standard employment agreement for that new position that Eric will be filling at Partnership.
Great. At the 35.28 rate.
Yeah, let's keep Eric engaged and at work on communications at 35.28 per hour.
PHC is lucky to have him.
Yep. That was the second.
Yes,
Any further discussion or public comment on this item? Seeing none, all in favor? It looks like we have no correspondence to deal with. We have one remaining discussion item, and this is Missoula County v. State Self-Insurers Risk Retention Group. This sounds like it could be either an Erica thing or a county attorney's office thing.
It's an Erica thing.
An Erica thing. Erica Grindy, fill us
Says
in.
the attorney.
So I also have Gary Zadek on the line. Gary, as you hopefully recall, represents Missoula County in the lawsuit filed against our excess liability carrier, State's Self-Insured Risk Retention Group. So I'm going to let Gary kick this off because I believe we need to move into a closed session, but I'll let him provide that.
Okay, Gary.
Hey, thank you all and good morning. I did want to discuss the status of this case in a closed session since it involves litigation with a private party. It's our claim against State's insurance that insured Missoula County involving the Denton and Johnston suits. We filed a suit on behalf of Missoula County in the federal court, and we have a scheduling order. We've been going through discovery, been doing research and preparation of a summary judgment motion on what the policy issued by states covers as to Denton and Johnston. And very quickly, Denton involved a breach of contract claim. Also
Gary,
alleged, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure if you just let us know when you're ready to move into closed session, and we'll.
I'm sorry, Eric. I would like to move into closed session now.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so,
Thank you.
Yeah, before we.
Yeah. And Gary, I forwarded a phone number to you to call a different number. So I apologize for the clunkiness of this virtually, but we'll meet you on another meeting and I'll let the commissioners wrap up what they need to in the open session.
And before we close, I just wanted to announce that beginning Tuesday, October 5th, we will move our administrative and public, hang on, for litigation strategy. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well,